Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful Swampy Mangroves of South Florida. And today's date is Saturday, December 28th, 2019. Hopefully everyone's resting up, preparing for the new year. Achieve your visions, resolutions, whatever you want to call it. We'll have a little bad habits now and then, but focus on the positive. One of your resolutions should be eternal vigilance, not just for this year, but to the rest of your life. And share that with your beautiful family, friends, comrades, neighbors, enemies if desired. That is true. And of course, you've been hearing going on at Virginia. And we all know, too, what the whole ordeal, which is disturbing, about Julian Assange on still extradition and so forth. Still up in the air. Which I told people I oppose it. And I may disagree with the man on a few things. But when it comes to freedom of the press or speech, publishing information, it's legit espionage. Please, stop lying to me, you bunch of posers out there. Federalized hacks. And, of course, you got some folks love to break their oath of office. Constantly breaching it, violating the beautiful people. And we're going to go north of the Old Dominion State. Maryland. Looking through the gun laws they have from handgunlaw.us. And it's really makes me laugh at times. Non-resident permits, they don't apply, so there's a big lawsuit happening in that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. It shouldn't really go that way, that far, to be very precise. And it's very, they wouldn't even let you carry firearms in the forest lands, the state parks, unless properly secure. That means you gotta lock it and be unloaded. I like the deadly weapons law on here on school property. Alright, and sounds like the same old song and dance. Criminal code, possession of firearms at public demonstration. So, that's considered a criminal code. And like it says here on Maryland Criminal Code, section 4-208, subsection 2. A person may not have a firearm in a person's possession on or about the person at a demonstration in a public place or in a vehicle that's within 1,000 feet of a demonstration in a public place. After the person has been advised by law enforcement that a demonstration is occurring in the public place and the person has been ordered by law enforcement to leave the area of the demonstration until the person disposes of the firearm. Penalty: a person who violates this section is guilty of a misdemeanor and on conviction is subject to imprisonment not exceeding 1 year or a fine not exceeding $1,000 or both. Of course, interference with legislative process. So they want to become they want you to become subservient instead of your constituents. And other devices restricted. Yeah. Carrying out duties and all that. Person not willing to bring an assault weapon or other firearm, destructive device as defined. That's code 2-1702. I have an assault weapon or other firearm, destructive device. Building where Senate or House chambers, a member, officer, or employee of the General Assembly has an official office, or a committee of the General Assembly, the Senate, and the House has an office. So, I mean, that includes they have their armed guards. Are they included in this? And, of course, they have things here I like the business regulations here, 15-203, refusal of lodging or service removal. An innkeeper may refuse to provide lodging or service, or to may remove from a lodging establishment an individual who, 6, an innkeeper reasonably believes possesses property that may be dangerous to other individuals, such as firearms or explosives. So it's more like a property rights thing. I don't know why I have to make that into a law. That's pretty effing ludicrous, of course. It's up to the property owner to be very precise. Yeah. And there's I'm talking about Maryland's firearm laws here, and explain why it does contradict the Declaration of Rights. So you could say this title will be Maryland's Firearms Decree are Prohibited. So I'm just going to be reading most of this here. And I love it when it says here about regulation of weapons and ammunition. This is a Maryland criminal law. 4-209. Code 4-209. State preemption. A. Except as otherwise provided in this section, the state preempts the right of a county, municipal, corporation, or taxing district in regulated purchase, sale, taxation, transfer, manufacture, repair, ownership, possession, and transportation of 1. Handgun, rifle, shotgun, and 2. Ammunition for and components of a handgun, rifle, or shotgun. It says here be 1. A county, municipal, corporation, or special taxing district may regulate the purchase, sale, transfer, ownership, possession, and transportation of the items listed in the subsection A of this section with respect to minors. 2. The respect to law enforcement officials of the subdivision. And 3, which is subsection A, of course, accepted as provided in paragraph 2 of the subsection within 100 yards or in a park, church, school, public building, or other place of peace, public assembly. And it's funny, you got some clowns that come from Florida, come from these areas trying to bring their garbage down here. They're trying to do that in Palm Beach, Florida, because people worry about open carry guys, folks from open carry. You can bring your fishing rod and you can open carry. And they're worried about it now. We're going to change these laws. Please. Stop being afraid of your own damn shadows at times. And it's interesting here about this handgun law. Must inform officer immediately? No. And I should start from the very beginning. I'm just flipping around here. The last time it was updated was December 20th, 2019. Maryland does not honor any other state permits or licenses. Yeah, I already made that statement. No, the state handgun permit or out-of-state handgun permits valid in Maryland. No, only exception is armored car drivers who possess a valid permit from other states who are on duty in Maryland. Oh, how nice. Permission, privilege, yeah. Hi, approved by competent authority. That's what licenses means, according to Black's Law Dictionary. And it's so cute because they don't honor any of the permits from other states. But if I'm correct, some other states they can, so possibly. I'm just going to look into this a little bit more. But it's just very intriguing here when they try to make this whole thing about Maryland. And of course, Baltimore's up there again, for the homicide, murder rates, firearm crime rates. And they got the strictest, one of the strictest in the country. Think about that. Alright, think about it. It doesn't make any confounded sense at all. So I'm just skipping around here. Sorry about that. And so you can't do it at the Bay areas, do gun salt. Yeah, let me see here. Actually, they do have a law. It says here, which is interesting. It says transportation in vehicles. Not allowed to have firearms throughout community adult rehabilitation centers. Okay, that's Administration Rules 12.02.03.10 H and 9. Book says here, transportation and firearms in Maryland cannot legally transport firearms interstate. Going through Maryland State Police. Yes, under Title 18, Section 926A of the U.S. United States Code, a person who is not prohibited from possessing, transporting, shipping, or receiving firearms shall be entitled to transport a firearm for any unlawful purpose from any place where he may lawfully possess and carry such firearm to any place where he may lawfully possess and carry such firearm if, during such transportation, the firearm is unloaded. Neither the firearm nor ammunition being transported is readily accessible or is directly accessible from the passenger compartment. In this case, the vehicle does not have a compartment separate from the driver's compartment. The firearm and ammunition shall be contained in a locked compartment other than the glove compartment or console. That means probably if you can take a train, you can just contact them. Then you're carrying a case, put it in the case, firearm, make sure it's empty, not loaded, boom, and you could transfer from there too. But you can have the case as long as it's locked, not loaded. So if someone breaks in, oh wait, I gotta load my gun, hang tight. This is how obscene some of these laws are, even in the federal level too, when you look at that. And of course, do no gun signs have to force the law? We are unable to determine if no gun signs are to force the law in Maryland until we get more information. I kind of property rights thing. And you can do that. No cards, no firearms, no money. I like that. You can make your little, print your cards and give it to them. And of course, public safety must inform officers. That says no. The person who a permit issued or renewed shall be carried a permit in the person's possession whenever the person carries, wears, or transports a handgun, which that's public safety 5-308. Note, you would have to present it on demand. Okay, it says here, carry allowed in these areas. State parks, no. But you can look that up. State National Forest, no. The state's WMAs, yes. Okay, so you can do that. And, of course, roadside rest areas, no. Yeah, so if you're in a rest area, put your hands up, folks. Your self-defense technique. That's how the government of Maryland thinks. Okay, RV carry without a permit license. It is illegal to carry any loaded firearm in any vehicle in Maryland without a MD permit to carry. Notice, check this out, folks. Maryland has a unit called Maryland Coordination and Analysis Center. They have license plate reader cameras around the state that read license plates of vehicles. Some are connected to criminal background check programs and permit license holder lists from those different states that will apply them. Excuse me. With the information, do use caution when even driving through Maryland. They can know if you have firearms permit license without even stopping you. Other states most likely have a similar system. So they are very Orwellian. 1984, yeah, the Peeping Tom state, Commonwealth. That's just this is an example, and this is really funny because even here, criminal law, which is the code 4-203, wearing, carrying, or transporting handguns. A, prohibited, except as prohibited by subsection B of this section. A person may not wear, carry, or transport a handgun, whether concealed or open, on or about the person. or and the wear, carry, or knowingly transport handguns, whether concealed or open, in a vehicle traveling on a road or park lot generally used by public highway, waterway, or airway of the state. And it says here, violate item of subsections, super subsections 1 and 2, okay, of this paragraph, or provisions, I would say, 1 or 2 provisions of this paragraph while on public school property in the state. And it says here, provisions 4 of the subsection, violate items 1 and 2 of this paragraph when a handgun loaded with ammunition. Exceptions. Does not prohibit. This is B. 3. Carrying a handgun on a person or in a vehicle while the person is transporting the handgun to or from a place of legal purchase or sale, or to from a bona fide repair shop, between a bona fide residence of the person, or between a bona fide residence, said place of business of the person, if the business is operated and owned substantially by a person, if each handgun is unloaded and carried in the enclosed case or an enclosed holster. I see. 4. Wearing, carrying, or transporting by a person of a handgun used in connection with an unorganized military activity, a target shoot, formal or informal target practice, sports shooting event, hunting, a Department of Natural Resource sponsored firearms and hunter safety class, trapping, or dog obedience training class or show while the person is engaged in or on the way of returning from that activity, if each handgun is unloaded and carried on in an enclosed case or an enclosed holster. 5. Moving by a bona fide gun collector or part of all collectors' gun collection from place to place, from public or private exhibition, each handgun is unloaded and carried in an enclosed case or an unloaded or enclosed holster. And it says 6 here, the wearing, carrying, or transporting of a handgun by a person on a real estate that a person owns, leases, or where the person resides, or within the confines of a business establishment that person owns or leases. So you can do it on those estates when you're own or rent. Okay, you can't do it at a lodge. You can be a little bit suspicious, but you can do it on a certain private property or business. So that's what they're trying to make this really thorough, so expertise, right? And it's already been says here about transportation, and they must be unloaded in the carrying case. It's all Q&A here. Yeah, that's been done right there. So more interstate transportation of firearms. That's been repeated. I don't want to repeat myself. It says here, open carry without a permit. Yeah, it's the same old song and dance. You must carry a valid, it's for open carry without a valid permit or license. You must have a valid permit license to legal carry any handgun in Maryland. Maryland is a May issue state, and open carrying a firearm, even with a Maryland permanent license, would most likely be frowned upon. An open carry would most likely be a valid reason for the state to revoke or your carry permit license. Yeah, so they're the house. So you gotta be the house and field pets. Okay, boss, I think that's great. You shouldn't be carrying that, son. You're gonna be in danger. No problem, boss. Even though I might get mugged, you're right. I say that ethically, of course. Of course, the preemption laws of here, of course. Like it says here, is 4-209, regulation of weapons and ammunition. As expected, otherwise provided this section, state preempts the rights of county, municipal, corporation, or special tax district and regulate states taxation, transfer, and manufacture, possession, and the transfer of handgun, shotgun, and ammunition for components of rifles and shotgun. Yeah, same old stuff I said before, so I'm going to skip that. Pretty cool. They have a deadly force law, but let me just see here. Yeah, In order to surrender, handguns must be unloaded per existing local laws. To the extent that local law does not create inconsistency with this section or expand existing regulatory control, a county, municipal, corporation, or special tax may exercise its existing authority to amend any local law that existed on before December 31st, 1984. Except as provided, paragraph 2 in the section, in accordance with law, a county, municipal, corporation, or special tax may be regulated to discharge of handguns, rifles, and shotguns, and to a county, municipal, corporation, or special taxing discharge of firearms at established ranges. They do have a deadly force law here, and there's no statutes, but it reads here. Let's look at the second paragraph of this. Maryland also follows a common law rule that outside of one's home, a person, before using deadly force in self-defense, has the duty to retreat or avoid danger in such means where within his power and consistent with his safety. Has the duty to retreat. Alright, so there's some cases in here. Devon versus the state, and 63, but there's a few others in here as well. But a person does not have to retreat if it would not be safe. If the person, I will repeat it again one more time. But a person does not have to retreat if it would be safe for the person to do so. If the peril of the defendant was imminent, he did not have to retreat, but has the right to stand his ground and to defend and protect himself. This is Bruce versus the state. Interesting. That's an interesting case there. So you can say stand your ground, common law, and a lot of folks freak out. Oh no, this is only for white people. Please don't give me that song and dance. I laugh when people post that stuff on Facebook. I just go, man, one-dimensional hacks, of course. Well, it goes right here as well. The duty to retreat also does not imply if one is attacked in one's home. A man faced with the danger of an attack upon his dwelling need not retreat from his home to escape the danger, but instead he may stand his ground, and if necessary to repel the attack, may kill the attacker. It is Crawford versus the state, 1963. The Court of Appeals said in Crawford, a case in which the defendant fatally shot a younger man who was attempting to break into his home to beat and rob him. It goes around here. A man is not bound to retreat from his home. He may stand his ground and there kill any person who is attempting to commit a felony therein, or who attempts to enter by force for the purpose of committing a felony or inflicting great bodily harm upon an inmate. In such a case, the owner or any member of the family or even a lodger in the house may meet the intruder at the threshold and prevent him from entering by any means rendered necessary by exigency, even to the taking of his life, and the homicide will be justifiable. So it's common law. Basically, this is more. Doesn't have a stand your ground law, but it's common law in Maryland. So you can I commend that, folks. But the problem is, how about if it's not registered, right? That's the question. Because you do have to register your firearms in that state, which is, right of privacy and all that. Violates the Declaration of Rights. Of course, you can carry a firearm permit and all that in restaurants. But if they have a no sign, that's considered property rights. So we'll have to go to that. And it's funny here about the chemical sprays, stun guns, capacity magazine laws. And it says here about Criminal Code 4-305. It's prohibited. A 22 caliber rifle, a tribunal magazine. Okay. Or 2, the law enforcement officers who retired in good standing from service in the law enforcement agency of the United States, the state, or any law enforcement in the state. So does not apply to law enforcement. So they can have these, but you can't. So, and they try to spread that even in Florida. Okay, just give you guys an example. This is how ludicrous this is. B, prohibited. A person may not manufacture, sell, offer for sale, purchase, retrieve, or transfer detachable magazines that has a capacity of more than 10 rounds of ammunition for a firearm. So if there's 11, you're a criminal. But where's the victim, right? Oh my goodness, man. So you got a lot of laws in here. Electronic devices, they're illegal. You have to be over 18, at least 18 to have them. So I'm not going to go through that. But manufacturer sales, of course, getting licenses and all that. It's very absurd. State information on this, subtitles. You have to have residency. As like it says here, getting the permit, airport carrier information, no law found. Well, it says here, training, is the training valid? Yeah, training valid for 3 years. 2 years, excuse me. And it says here, time period for established residency. A person who moves into the state with the intent of becoming a resident shall register all regulated firearms with the Secretary of Maryland State Police within 90 days after establishing residency. So, of course, it's handgunlaw.us, which is a good site. It says here, from all, handgunlaw.us can find out you become a resident obtaining a driver's license, state ID. And, of course, minimum age for a permit licensee, 18. Permit license and info public information, no. State firearm laws, public safety is 5-101 through 5-404. And criminal code 4-101 through 4-503. State deadly forces laws, unknown, but they do have common law, which I addressed aforementioned. Of course, they have things on state knife laws. All right, chemical, electric weapons laws, that's considered, criminal stuff. Body armor laws. Oh, so body armor laws are that's considered illegal over there. Criminal code. It might, as long as you don't have to use it for criminal intent, of course. But if you use it for your own personal protection, you got to question that. I'm gonna have to share this. If you send me something on this, be titanium body armor, anything else, please, that'd be great. I would love to hear your comments on this. And of course, does your permit cover other weapons besides firearms? Yes. Okay, it's from Public Safety 5-301. But Criminal Code 4-101 exempts permit holders from the law permitting carrying other dangerous weapons. Is carrying a concealed firearm with a permit license for defensive purpose only while hunting legal? Yes. Okay, so that's not too bad. And there's a law for that right there. Natural Resource Code 10, Subtitle 4. Code or statute or Section 10-408D. Only while bow hunting, deer management region. So, what does consider a loaded firearm? Okay, it's from the natural resources here. Hunting from vehicles. Restricted on wildlife farming. So, it says here, C, hunting from vehicles. A person may not shoot any species of wildlife from an automobile or other vehicles except as provided in 4-203B of the Criminal Law Article and Title 5, Subtitle 3 of the Public Safety Article. Possesses or in a vehicle, other vehicles, loaded handgun or shotgun or rifle containing ammunition or magazine or chamber. Okay, so that's not too bad. That's like a little bit half-assed, but to each his own. A little bit ridiculous for me, to be very frank. But it's just it's good to go hunting your feet. All right, public safety management, emergency powers, subtitle 3, governor's emergency powers. He has those powers and doing some things, and they give you a whole rundown on that. Yeah, I'm just looking at this. I should have. Yeah, so there's mostly like stuff here, emergency areas and all that. So, control traffic, including, order rules, so they can do what he wants here. Yeah, so it's just in case if anything happens. But, a lot of areas I'm not too thrilled with that Commonwealth, because there's a lot of awesome people there, don't get me wrong, beautiful people. The people there from Maryland I love dearly, so. However, it just really dawns on me when they want you to use all these laws and think it's legit under their Constitution. So that's what makes me laugh about the most. And it's okay for them to incriminate you too, right? Registering everything. And it's funny because I'm gonna rant on this a little bit, but I will explain why they are prohibited. And I'm just gonna read here from Bearing Arms. Came out a couple days ago. 21 state attorneys general asked Supreme Court of the United States to strike down Maryland concealed carry law. It is by Tom Knighton, excuse me. And it says here, while many people laminate the requirement for concealed carry permits in many states, and rightly so, perhaps the most egregious infringement on our Second Amendment rights are those states which require people to show up to cause and be granted a permit. Though these are even worse than simple may issue requirements, through the two go hand in hand. Now it seems the Supreme Court may be considering a case about constitutionality of these measures. In fact, 21 state attorneys general have written to the court asking to strike down such an unconstitutional law. The Constitution of 21 state attorneys general is asking the Supreme Court to strike down Maryland law that denies concealed carry permits unless applicants can conceive local officials they have a good and substantial reason to be granted one by local authorities. That you have to have permission. Good grief! Like bunch of like nannies trying to tell you how to pick your nose, for goodness sakes, or tell you what to read and when to sleep. West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, a Republican, and other state officials filed a friend of a court brief with the Supreme Court December 18th. Case incited Malpaso versus Pelosi. Morrisey and others want to expand the scope protection afforded to gun ownership rights after the High Court ruled District of Columbia versus Heller 2010 that has the right to possess a firearm as an individual right, and in McDonald versus Chicago 2012 that the right of individuals to keep and bear arms applies to the states. Apart from West Virginia, the other states that participated in the brief are Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Virginia, and Utah. The question, former U.S. Solicitor General Paul Clement, a veteran of the Second Amendment battles, put before the court in a petition for cessatory filed September 26, whether the Second Amendment allows the government to prohibit typical law-abiding citizens from carrying handguns outside the home for self-defense in any manner. However, we also know from Heller that the court found the right of defense to be a fundamental right, which suggests that Maryland law's best hope for victory is for court not to hear the case. If this case proceeds, it could be a huge win for gun rights. It's highly unlikely that the good and substantial reason requirement will be upheld by the court generally believed to be pro-gun. For anti-gunners, their best hope would be for narrow finding that just eliminates those kinds of requirements. That would be welcome in places like New Jersey, for example, where I've talked with readers who can't get a permit because of this kind of thing. Yet the court could also find more broadly. It's quite possible the justices to find that even may issue schemes are unconstitutional and shall just issue should be the law of the land. It is not completely out of the realm of possibility that the court will strike down carry permits completely, though I find it incredibly unlikely. Still, should the court hear this case, this could represent a huge win for gun owners in profoundly anti-gun states. And that is true. I have to agree, because there are one of the 13 colonies that start the United States. These United States, to be exact. So, I'm going to read from the Declaration of Rights on here, because it even is in their own Maryland's Constitution. Article 2 says, the Constitution of the United States and the laws made, or which shall be made, in the prudence thereof, and all treaties made, on which shall be made, under the authority of the United States, and are, and shall be the supreme law of the state. And the judges of the state, and the people of all the state, are, and shall be boundly thereby, anything in the Constitution or law of the state, to contrary notwithstanding. Interesting there, so look at the emulated Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution on that one. So, and here's one thing you can look at too, about why these firearm decrees in Maryland are illegal. It contradicts one here, Article 3. The power not delegated to the United States by the Constitution thereof, nor prohibited by it, to the states are reserved to the states, respectively, or to the people thereof. We can hit 4 as well. That the people of the states have signed an exclusive rights of regulating the infernal government and police thereof as a free, sovereign, independent state, not the other way around. Okay, so I'm just wondering how many people who's actually controlling Maryland. Okay, and yeah, we can hit 7 here too. That the right of the people to participate in the legislature is the best security of liberty and the foundation of free government. For its purpose, elections ought to be free and frequent, and every citizen having the qualification prescribed by the Constitution ought to be the right of suffrage. We hit 16. The seigneury law ought to be avoided as far as is consistent with the safety of the state, and no law inflict cruel and unusual pains and penalties ought to be made in any case or any time hereafter. So a lot of these laws, including the red flag law up there, could say illegit, bill of attainder and all that. And I'm just looking here, I'm just trying to find out, they can have you can't even incriminate yourself. Let me look here, hold on, I'm just trying to find this out. Where the hell is it? Yeah, I'm assuming in the dark here, so I'm not going to go ahead like myself does that. But that's okay. And, yeah. Okay, well, I'll keep on here. And it's interesting, too, we hit 18. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hit 17. That respective laws punishing acts committed before the existence of such laws, and by them only declare criminals are oppressive, unjust, and incompatible with liberty. Wherefore, no ex post facto law ought to be made, nor any retrospective oath or restriction be imposed or required. Interesting there, folks. See, you can challenge your local government in Annapolis on this, especially Baltimore. Challenge them on these areas. Don't go in there angry and flinging stuff around. I've seen videos like that. They all go. You got the constituents with their tirades. No, you bring ammunition. You bring facts, and this is right there, Article 18. They're right. So these gun laws or decrees, whatever the hell you want to call it, violates that. And of course, it's here 19 that every man for injury done to him in his person or property ought to have remedy by the course of the law of the land, and ought to have justice and right, freely without sale, fully without any denial, and speedily without delay according to the law of the land. Yeah. Okay, and of course, facts. That the trial of facts, where they arise, is one of the greatest securities of the lives, liberties, and estates of the people. We can use that red flag law once again because it is unconstitutional according to this. On Commonwealth doctrine, right? So it says here, another here, 24, that no man ought to be taken or imprisoned or seized for his freehold liberties or privileges, or outlawed or exiled, or in any manner destroyed or deprived of his life, liberty, or property, but by the judgment of his peers, or by the law of the land. Let me hit 26. That all warrants without oath or affirmation to search subject places or to seize any person or property or grievous or oppressive, and all general warrants to search suspected places or to apprehend suspected persons without naming or describing the place. All right, so describing the place or the person is special or illegal, and not ought to be granted. So any of these warrants that contradicts the Fourth Amendment, you can say, is invalid. And of course here, there's no conviction shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture of estate, assets. And 28, that a well-regulated militia is proper and natural defense of a free government. I know they'll have no right to bear arms in this in the Maryland's Constitution, but pretty interesting about militias. What do you use, slingshots? Bing! Yeah, come on. So we'll go here, 44. That the provisions of the Constitution of the United States and of the state apply well in a time of war as in a time of peace. Any departure therefrom or violation under the plea of necessity or any other plea is subversive of good government and tends to anarchy and despotism. And of course, 45, this enumeration of rights shall not be construed to impair or deny others retained by the people. So, even though they may not have a right to keep bear arms on his face, but 45 says you can. So all these gun laws are considered prohibited. Absolutely, my friend. See, it's on his face. It's prima facie just cause. You don't have to go to the damn Supreme Court. The people in Maryland have the initiative to tell those Yahoo tyrannical douchebags, you call them out. They're nothing without you. They want you to be their peasants. That's the damn truth. And don't worry, I do my battles in Florida as well. I can say that. I know I ticked off these clowns down here trying to pull their garbage. Meek and unmeritorious practices. And what's real, and it's so gnarly. This is why I get a little bit touchy in these areas. And of course, 18, that no law attained particular treason or felony ought to be made in the case or at any time hereafter. Okay? So, let me just, I'm trying to look for here. Oh, yeah, 21. Oh, 22, excuse me. That no man ought to be compelled to give evidence against himself in a criminal case. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Don't incriminate yourself when you have to register your firearms to be a resident of the Commonwealth. Come on, that's like so pathetic. But it's one of those areas, folks, what all the laws I've been reading here, and plus many more, in the Commonwealth of Maryland are null and void. What are you going to do about it, folks? You got a lot of powers out. You got a lot of power. Don't let them tell you any different. Criminals can roam around, but people like yourselves gotta go, okay, master? No. You shouldn't do a damn thing. You have natural rights. And the Declaration of Rights in your Commonwealth is self-explanatory. Always stand for that. It can never be taken away or abolished or altered. Governments can, but not you folks. And I'm going to do one little quote from Frederick Douglass. says here, a man's rights rest in 3 boxes: the ballot box, the jury box, and the cartridge box. He didn't say unless you got permission from your masters. Alright? That's the bottom line, my friends. And that is it. I thank everyone for listening, but feel free to download and share us on your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or if you send something interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. I would love to hear from you folks, even up in Maryland. What's your intake on this? And trust me, don't be afraid of these people. Action conquers fear. Alright? I will leave the footnotes on my Spreaker page, so check it out. And it'll go everywhere else, of course. Spotify, and I'm not on SoundCloud yet, but Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, many others as well. Deezer, and sometimes I just forget. Google Play, Google Podcast, so I'm on there too as well. And many others. Just type in Loki Luck 3 Podcast, number 3. Alright? Or Roman numeral 3. See, I even goof up. Alright, folks, once again, thank you for your time, but always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.